Thank you, Professor John Riddle, for inviting me to this panel. My topic today is about materials, perspectives, and methods about Chinese studies in Africa. On the basis of the traditional China-Africa relationship, China-Africa relations have developed rapidly in the past 20 years. A large number of Chinese research centers have been established in Africa to start concrete empirical research related to China. As Sarah Van Hoymissen, the director of China Studies in Botswana, said, Chinese studies in Africa is an area with a special mission and research topics. China has attracted close attention from Africa in all aspects, but at present, international research on overseas sinology is mainly concentrated in European countries and America, and as well as some other Asian countries. There are also some discussions on overseas sinology studies in Latin American countries in recent years, but the attention on African Chinese studies is very weak. To this end, I will try to sort out the important works, important arguments, and theoretical methods used of Chinese studies in the African community so as to provide a reference for overseas Chinese science research. First of all, I would like to introduce some major research institutions of Africa. Since the 21st century, the academic research on China has had an integrated development with the expansion of the scope of Chinese research studies and improvement of research level. The Chinese research institutions in Africa mainly include think tanks, universities, scientific research institutions. Major countries include South Africa, Nigeria, Tanzania, Sudan, Botswana, etc. South Africa is the earliest African country to conduct Chinese research. In 2004, the Center for Chinese Studies University of Stellenbosch was established in South Africa to promote the exchange of knowledge, ideas, and experience between China and Africa. In addition to publishing regular journals, research reports, and policy briefings, and hold international seminars on China, the center also established a postdoctoral program in 2016 to train experts on Chinese studies. On June 2013, the Magumbuwe Institute for Strategic Reflection set up Chinese Civilization Research Project. This is the first African perspective of Chinese research project, assembled African think tank, politicians, scholars, and took many years of the philosophy of Chinese civilization, includes the Chinese civilization, values, politics, economy, China-Africa relations, and for South Africa, a comprehensive ending of the Communist Party of China and various policy laid the foundation. The University of Johannesburg, the China-Africa Studies, was established on 2018, take China-Africa relations and the Belt and Road Initiative as a key research project. David Moye, director of the center, is committed to China's Belt and Road Initiative. And Nigeria is the earliest West African countries of Chinese research. In 2015, the Center for China Studies of Nigeria was established, aims to, through the study of China-Nigeria relations, China-Africa relations, deepen various forms of exchange between the two countries. And the Communist Party history is one of its key research projects. The center gives full play to the role of Nigeria think tank, pay close attention to China's political system reform, China's reform and opening up, China's development. And the Center for University of Dar es Salaam of the University of Tanzania, the first professional academic institution to study China issues and China-Africa relations in East Africa, was established on 18. And there are so many other countries establishing China's study centers. Because of the time is limited, I will just go on the next part, the issues and trends of China studies in Africa. The first of all, the hot topic is history of China-Africa relations based on archaeology and history. The study of history of China relations is an important part of African China studies. African scholars are committed to exploring the ancient connection between China and Africa from the perspective of archaeology and history, which strongly refutes the so-called the so-called European and American public opinion, and some scholars who regarded China to Africa as a new invasion or new inroads. This is the first, and the second is a research on contemporary China-Africa shifts. China-Africa relations has been more fruitful. There are some many other articles. The next is from the observation of China to the participation in Africa, the study of Communist Party history. After the 2060s, most countries in Africa went to the process of national independence. Therefore, China's achievements in the socialist revolution and the construction period became their observation objects. China as a reference, and the other entered the research vision of Africa and produced a number of research results. The next is the development of the China model in Africa, research in contemporary China. In recent years, the African academic circles on the construction and reform of the Communist Party of China, especially the reference significance of China's development practice for Africa. The China model has become the focus of African Chinese research, drawing lessons from China's development experience and working out of the development path of the African characteristics. It can be divided into three parts. The first one is the reference significance of China's reform and opening up policy and poverty reduction experience for Africa. The second is a community with a shared future for mankind and a China-Africa community. The third is China's practical experience in governance. The next part, I will talk about the characteristics and the methods of African China studies. So first is a characteristics of trends. First, although African China studies started late and there is still a certain gap between the quality and the quantity of research results compared with European countries and American, since the 21st century, Africa has developed rapidly on China. The number of research institutions has increased, and China-Africa cooperative research has continued to increase. The Chinese project has been separated from the Confucius Institute in universities and become a separate scientific research institution, serving the study of contemporary China and paying increasing attention to contemporary China. Second, the research subject identity and the research purpose are becoming increasingly complex. African Chinese related scholars have both experience in foreign affairs and also have experience in colleges and universities, set politicians and scholars' identity. So they enjoy the convenience of archives. For example, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the archives of official delegation reports, official letter, and official archives. Many archives content first disclosed in China, but it also determines their research purpose and motivation. It's not solely from academic research, but from the perspective of African political, economical, social, and cultural development. The research content is rich. Third, the research perspective gradually shifted from Western reference to native Africa. and the research method were diversified. Some research use the West as a point of reference to explain China and the Communist Party of China, and interpret Western literatures. With the development of China-Africa relations, African scholars pay more attention to local historical materials and use the research methods of oral history and have a more objective understanding of the Communist Party of China. Fourth, since the beginning of the new century, Chinese studies in Africa has focused on the study of CPC governance ideas and China-Africa relations, with rich results and different angles. As Onunaiju said, Karl Marx socialism and the second liberation of Africa, many African countries ignore their national conditions and social development and blindly intimate some other political models, so as unable to promote national development. Fifth, some of the African research on China was supported by the foundation and followed the European countries. The sixth, the research results and the value of African sinology or African China studies need to be placed under the context of international Chinese studies research. Some African scholars have been committed to the have been strongly attacking the China and have some different ideas to the Communist Party. So the last one, I just want to talk about the position and the positionality of African Chinese scholars. In fact, there are currently two forms of African China studies. One is China studies in Africa. The second is African Chinese studies. In recent years, in the background of European academic training, many African Chinese study scholars use I and others. There are two different angles to talk about Chinese studies in Africa. So sometimes they will the development of dragon in the bush, in the jungle. They will use this metaphor closely linked with China's emergence in Africa with Western words such as neo-colonialism, imperialism, and Chinese threat. So sinological studies in Africa even provide academic intelligence. It is in this context, using Africa as a research center under the framework of the Global South, based on the South-South cooperation between China, Africa, using China as a method, highlighting the subjectivity of African is more necessary and important. So the book, so I will finish my topic is, in general, African China studies focus on different stages in the mid-1950s, the history of China's socialist revolution and constructions, and a new China in the 1980s, and achievements of reform and opening up, governance thought, the One Belt Road initiative, and the construction of a community with a shared future for mankind. A large number of achievements have played a positive role in establishing the China's image in the international community. But we should also note that there are some noteworthy problems in African Chinese studies. The first one is, although the number of research results has surged in the past decade, but the lack of high-quality academic monographs, the research results are not representative. The academic and political influence is limited. It has not formed Chinese content and characteristics in the strict academic sense.
If you can please wrap up a little bit, I think you're 5 minutes above. If you can wrap up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So I will finish my topic. Many thanks for inviting me. And that's all. Thank you.